Australia is on the brink of recession. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.Heise here and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. There's an article for news.com.au written by Leith Van Olsen and David Limwell-Smith discussing why Australia is on the brink of a recession. Now, let's start off. Before we go through this article, I just want to bring up the definition of what a recession is. And here we go. So, a recession, a period of temporary economic decline during which trade and industrial activity are reduced, generally identified by a fall in GDP in two successive quarters. Okay, so we've got 2 quarters of falling GDP, and we can quite clearly see that here in this GDP chart. You can see the 2 quarters where GDP fell. So let's have a look at why Australia is once again at the brink of recession. So the Australian economy is in trouble, and these are the 3 signs that put us on the brink of a crisis. Now, recessions, well, no one likes them, but in some cases they're necessary. You need to clear out the dead wood, the overgrown trees, to allow the young ones to grow up and new opportunities to create. You need the decaying businesses to fall aside and the remains to fertilize the next generation of businesses. Maybe that's something Australia needs. But, well, we see it's intervene at all costs, cast aside the opportunities and quality of life of future generations to avoid the inevitable. But we'll see. Let's have a look at what they have to say here. The Australian economy is in trouble. Forces are coming together like cymbals to pancake it where it stands. First, it's terrible consumer confidence. The latest ANZ Roy Morgan Consumer Confidence Index has it tracking at its lowest level since 2020, and we've discussed that in a previous episode. And one viewer left a very interesting comment going, last time consumer confidence crashed, housing shot up. So, household consumption is by far the Australian economy's biggest driver, accounting for 55% of the nation's growth on average. Therefore, where household consumption goes, the economy typically follows, as illustrated by the next chart. Household consumption hasn't taken a hit yet. Not yet. We'll have to see. Second, the East Coast economy will be hit by a progressive $50 billion utility bill shock over the next year, owing to the energy crisis, which is derived directly from Australia's bizarre decision to sell energy commodities to itself at outlandish prices. Both gas and power bills are going to double if there is no government intervention. This brings us to our third headwind for the economy. The RBA has begun an aggressive interest rate tightening cycle, hiking the cash rate to 0.75% over May and June. Now it is intensifying that tightening thanks to the energy price shock that permeates everything over time. Economists predict the OCR will rise to about 2.5% next year, aligning with recent commentary from RBA Governor Philip Lowe that 2.5% represents a real interest rate of 0 based on the bank's inflation target. Well, 3% used to be considered the emergency rate, and, well, we know it's not quite at that. I'll bring up my little chart here just to show you. There you go. So we're pretty far away from 3%, or even 2.5%. But there is now danger that the energy shock feeds the inflation cycle, and the RBA is forced to hike rates even further. Financial markets are now tipping a cash rate of around 4.2% by May 2023. Even at 2.5% official cash rate, the combined energy and interest rate shock is nearly a $90 billion income drain on the East Coast economy. This is roughly the size of the JobKeeper program during COVID, except in reverse. If the official cash rate goes higher, so does the damage. But that's not the end of it. Australia is unique in that the overwhelming bulk of mortgage holders are on variable rates. This means that any change in the OCR from the RBA is quickly transmitted into mortgage repayments and property prices much faster than elsewhere. Yes, they're right there, but none of us trusted low. 40% of people went to fixed. So there's going to be a lot of us that are not going to feel this impact, and it'll hit us in the future. So you've got time to prepare. Use it. In its latest financial stability review, the RBA estimated that a 200 basis point increase in interest rates from current levels would lower housing property prices by 15% over a 2-year period. Okay, so what? If we have a look at property, let's where do we want to check? Let's go to Brisbane, and we'll just refresh this here. How far back is that going to take us? It may be only a couple of years. Okay, because property has just gone insane. So it's not going to be the uber correction that people are hoping for. Therefore, the economist's forecast of 2.5% suggests a peak to trough fall in real Australian house prices of more than 15%, with nominal values falling by more than 20%. Other house price models put the number closer to double that measure. The futures market bullish 4.2% OCR will literally crash the housing market, with real housing prices falling by more than 30% in real terms and by more than 35% in nominal terms under the RBA's modelling. That would equate to a $3 trillion being wiped off household wealth. Well, okay, what interventions are going to happen if that occurs? That's the real question. We've seen how willing our government is coming to the rescue. Let's do a quick refresher, everyone. We have a look here about government coming to the rescue. They even allowed zombie companies to stay alive. They changed the rules for business to allow people to trade while insolvent. They brought in JobKeeper, and a huge number of people were supported by the state. If you add civil servants to that, it gets really scary. Then you've got juicing the market. I mean, do you really think the RBA will keep the cash rate at such a high level once, housing corrects and people start losing their jobs and their homes? Then perhaps Mortgage Keeper will appear, or maybe Labor will come in and start buying 40% of your house and rent it to you. So they like the outcome. Australian consumers are already being hit with a cost of living crisis impacting everything from petrol to food to rents to electricity and gas. At the same time, their wages are barely growing. Well, no, their minimum wage is now up 5%, so everyone else is going to demand a 5% increase. Over the rest of this year, we're likely to see the household sector slow its spending. This will begin to loosen the job market by the year end. By 2023, the Australian economy will slow towards stall speed. It's also important to note that Australia is not alone in these travels. Similar headwinds are slowing other major economies around the world. In particular, the Federal Reserve has lifted the interest rate by 75 basis points. It's surely only a matter of time before something breaks in financial markets. When that happens, Australia will join much of the developed world in recession, arguably one we did not need to have if we had only fixed energy markets. Regardless, 2023 will likely be a year of deep deflation as central banks end the business cycle. So there we go, everyone. What do you reckon? Let's have a talk about this one. So will we have a recession? I would not be shocked at all if Australia enters a recession. Now, will the government allow the recession to play out like it should? Or will they intervene and come to the rescue? Let me know what you think in the comments below, guys, because I'm hedging my bets that they're just going to stuff it up even further. Anyway, thank you all for watching. If you're a fan of the channel and want to support us, there are a few ways you can. You can financially support us directly by joining the channel on YouTube or Patreon. You can use referral links from Amazon, eBay, Independent Reserve, or AussieBroadband. Or you could buy some of our merchandise. We still have a few pocket squares left from when we reached 10,000 subscribers. We're not going to make any more, so hurry and order those from our website. And finally, if you need architectural services, get in touch. Take care, guys. Have a great day. I'll see you all in the next episode of HeiseSays. Bye for now. My coffee's still cheap. It's not that bad.